Hello. Welcome to Fare Thee Well. It's a short visual novel. Figured I'd live stream this for today, so short and easy. Let's do this. Fare Thee Well, the story of a lonely man. Aww. A wanderer, a wayfarer, a stranger. And the sleepy town he found in the snow. One winter night, December 1967. I am a lone, wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world of woe. But there's no sickness, toil, or danger in that bright land to which I go. The strong winter wind beats down all around me. I pull my coat ever closer. I'm going there to see my father. I'm going there no more to roam. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. Down the road I walked, covered in cold snow. I have no one to meet and nowhere to go. I know dark clouds will gather around me. I know my way is rough and steep, but golden fields light up before me, where God's redeemed shall ever sleep. I need to find somewhere better than this. I can't feel a thing. I'm going there to see my mother. She says she'll meet me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. Suddenly I see light in the bleak midwinter. A small town nestled deep in the woods. Asleep, dreaming the passage of time. All except for one single brick building, its windows glowing with light beacons for the lost. I see it's a bar. A dimly lit sign flickers above the entrance. On it is a name emblazoned in pale golden letters. The Hearth and Home. I push past the door and enter in on this snowy night. Once inside, I take off my gloves and rub my hands together for warmth. It takes too long to feel my fingers again. I close my tired eyes and take in the sounds of the bar. It's busier than I expect in a town like this. There's a low murmur dispersed in the air. Some people are here in groups and many are like me alone. Aww. It's good to see people again. I slip my gloves into my coat and take a seat. A bartender spots me from behind a row of drying glasses and approaches. Bartender, evening. Wayfarer, a beer, please. I only order it so I can stay. The bartender fills a glass from the tap. Bartender said, traveling through? He places a drink in front of me. The liquid in the glass shines like oil under the pale metal lights of the bar. Wayfarer, yeah. I drink all at once, immerse some fire back into my blood. Bartender says, can't I say I know what business brought you here? Wayfarer says, how do you know I'm not traveling for pleasure? Pleasure doesn't come this far north this time of the year, the bartender says. I smirk. Wayfarer said, maybe I got lost. And there you go. Now you can read what it says. Okay. Bartender says, maybe you did. He takes my glass and steps away. I take a glance out the window while he's gone. The night is black and thick with snow. I should stay a while longer. It won't let up soon. Cedar, Maine. Population, a little over 2,000. I was able to make out the sign off the highway exit before the storm got too bad. Originally, I meant to make it all the way to the other side. Hitchhiking got harder after sunset. When it got too cold to be outside, I headed off the road to the nearest place I could find. This place wasn't too bad, reminded me of simpler times. I'll stay here for the night. Not that I have a choice. It feels nice just to sit for a change. Sometimes you move so much you feel like you're not the one moving anymore. Like you're drifting. Sometimes though it's fine, when I can just stop and let things pass me by. After a while, I notice a change in the air. The curtain of small talk lowers into silence. The clink and the plates and glasses melts away. A small crowd begins to form in one corner of the bar. I walk over to get a look at what's going on and watch as someone gets up into a small, unlit stage. It's a girl in a green dress is about to sing. The girl gazes with her deep brown eyes at the expectant faces all around her. A hush falls over the crowd as she leans into the microphone. Her face betrays not a single emotion, but pure wonder. It's almost as if she's somewhere else, remembering better times, preparing to sing to herself in a world that stood still, hanging off her every word. She begins softly, poised barely above a whisper. Girl, by yon Bonnie Banks, and by yon Buddy Brace, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond. I know the song. Girls continue saying, where me and my true love will never meet again. On the bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Of course I know this song. The small birds they sing and the wildflowers spring. And in sunshine the waters are sleeping, where the broken-hearted can know no second spring again. Though the woeful may cease from their grieving, you'll take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland before you. But me and my true love will never meet again. On the bonny banks of Loch Lomond. After her rendition of Loch Lomond, the girl continues to perform, singing various other folk songs. The audience continues to be mesmerized by every movement of her parted lips. The bar is eerily silent, and not a single person dare move. Her voice is magical, perhaps the most beautiful I've heard in all my life. I've never been this absorbed in song before. The voice of the girl in the green dress grows and grows and grows, only to fill the air with complete emotion, feeling something with energy. Feeling sleazy with energy, I'm so sorry. Like her voice is an endless flowing spring, and to listen to it is to drink and drink and drink again. I've never felt this way before. I doubt I will again. When she finally finishes her set, the girl in the green dress takes a fateful step back from the microphone. Her skin beads with sweat. Her chest heaves up and down to the rhythmic beat of her exhausted heart. Her posture is tired but proud. Her breath short but steady. Her eyes somber but bright, vibrant with fire. And as I watch her, in this precious little moment of silence, it seems all time stops. The sheer intensity of this moment breaks over me like a cold ocean wave. The sadness I feel at its impermanence, its immediate beginning and end, pulls me under. I am washed in fascination, and in that moment the passage of time resumes. It flows unhindered, ignorant that so much change had just taken place in my inner self in that brief window of frozen time. That change in my heart has just set forth in motion a long, long story. One that will not end for a very long time. A story about meeting people and saying goodbye to people. A story about arrivals and departures. A story about time. I sit alone for a while, taking this all in. After I regain my senses, I shake myself off and return to my seat at the bar. I see someone's cleared my glass from the counter. The bartender spots me out of the corner of his eye and comes on over. Bartender says, "Another?" I might be staying here longer than I thought. "Just one." The man fulfills my request, pouring another glass of the amber drink and placing it down before me. He takes a look around the bar as he wipes some washed plates. The sink isn't too far from my seat, and he can talk to me while he works. Bartender, busy night tonight. Busier than usual? Much. So even this counts as much busier than usual? This must be a smaller town than I originally thought. The girl helps? The bartender nods knowingly. Oh, the girl helps. Is she a real singer? I suppose any singer's a real one, but no, she's not a professional. We could never afford someone like that. Then what is she? She's young, about your age, about my age. One of those student types. A student all the way out here? The bartender doesn't seem to take offense on my jab at his own town. Don't know. She's been in town about a month now. Stays in the motel across the bridge. Usually we don't have music, but she's willing to work for cheap. She's good. She's affordable. I take a sip of my beer. From the bartender's description, the girl in the green dress seems interesting. I like to talk to her if I can. Wayfarer says, "You let people talk to her after her sets?" He seems incredibly unsurprised. Bartender, no, but you seem like a nice enough guy, so go ahead. I'll warn you though, no one's lasted long in a conversation with her. I take a bigger sip and cock my head. Wayfarer, what is that? Seems to be seasoned ice queen. She's polite enough, just doesn't say very much. Doesn't want to open up to anyone about anything, that kind of girl. What? A bar singer who's too shy to talk to people? In the flesh. Of all the thoughts that crossed my mind while she was on stage, I didn't once imagine her to be shy. It must take a lot of courage to get up there and sing. So she's brave on the outside, but what's on the inside? What makes her shy? There must be something hidden in all this. I'm far too interested to back out now. I have finished off my drink to the last drop. I think I'll take my chances. Bartender, you tread a dangerous path. Then he nodded at something behind me. Bartender, there she is now. Go ahead before she leaves. I take out some money and tuck it under my glass as payment and stand up from my seat. Bartender says, your sacrifice will be remembered throughout all northern Maine. Out of the darkness and the crowd, I spot the girl in the green dress making her way toward the door. She's tucking the sides of her coat tight around her, like she's trying to make herself look as small as she can. I wave her over before she can leave. She sees me and stares at me blankly while I approach her. She seems surprised. That's her. That's the girl. God, she's beautiful. I can't take my eyes off her. She's absolutely breathtaking, but she's not saying a word. You're not going to want to leave for a while. There's a big snowstorm raging outside. Girl, da da da. Wait for da da da. Alright, thank you. Off to a bad start. Wayfarer, actually, I was wondering if I could talk with you for a minute. It can only get worse from here. The girl in the green dress takes a moment to digest all this, then she raises her eyebrows like she's confused, but doesn't want to admit it. What do you want to talk about? Well, about things. It got worse from here. God, I've not done this in so long. The girl... Oh, look at her face. The girl visibly recoils. I think she's trying to hold back laughter. I shake my head and smile. Time to try again. Here, what I meant is this. I listened to you sing up on the stage. You have a really pretty voice, and I'd like to talk to you about your singing. If you'll have me, that is. I think I did better this time. I think. The girl stares at me for a while longer. I'm helpless to gauge how her reaction will be. Then, of all things, she smiles. No one's ever asked me about my singing before. Success. I'm honored to break tradition. The girl lets out a small snicker. She lets go of the sides of her coat and rests her hands meekly at her sides. Hi, I'm Emmeline. Hi, Emmeline. Good evening, Emmeline. Let me buy you a drink. Let me buy you a drink! I turn to be beside her and begin to lead her toward the bar. I haven't spoken to people like this in a long time. I wonder what's come over me. I'm finding it so easy, natural even. Like I'm acting out my own life, not observing it. Must be something in the air. You too good for now? Yeah, thanks. Yes. Alright. Once the two of us are alone, I raise my glass and Emmeline hers. They sound together with a definite clink. Cheers. Cheers. Emmeline eagerly raises her glass to her lips and sips away. You have expensive taste of alcohol. She shrugs. Hello! How are you? Care to say hi? Okay, we gotta continue reading this. Emmeline says, just for tonight. Smart. Silently retreat to our house. Afterward, all brief introductions, I learned Emmeline is 22. Ha! I'm 22! She's also 22! Wow! And I tell her I'm 25. Emmeline, you look much younger than 25. I get that a lot. We start to get to know each other a little better. Me? A professional singer? No? Not even close. Well, I'm sorry to have assumed. No, singing's just a passion of mine. I'm like this since I was a kid. I do it when I can for money. It's nothing serious. If it's a passion of yours, that is not nothing serious. It's not what I went to school for, is what I mean. What did you go to school for? I was studying to become a nurse. I wasn't interested in it or anything, but it was safe. There's still lots of people out there who don't like to see educated women. This seems personal. I hope I'm not prying. And you've graduated? No. Oh, I'm sorry. What happened? Well, I'm not sure you want to get into it. I don't know what your politics are. I don't really involve myself in that. I don't keep myself too current. I don't have any strong opinions if that's what you're worried about. I'm listening. Anything you can think of to say, you can say, and I'll listen. Well, I was expelled from school for protesting the war. Wow! Evelyn? Expelled from school for taking part in peaceful protests? That can't be allowed. It wasn't too peaceful in the end. Ah, that explains it. It does. We stop to sip our drinks, and I mull over in my mind what to say next. Well, I'm sorry to have pride. Emily's face softens. Really, it's fine. It's nice to get to talk about it with someone. I take it there aren't too many new opportunities to talk to people here in Cedar? Not here, no. Can I ask how you ended up here? You could, but it's not a fun story. You can imagine my parents weren't very big fans of my expulsion. I figured. They were livid, engorged with rage. You think they were going to eat me. They were so angry. Like they were going to lock me up in the cellar and bury the key. While she's talking, her voice becomes strained. Obviously, this is reopening old wounds for her. I feel bad for bringing it up now. They started pressuring me to find a husband. Showed me off to any rich young men or family friends who came by, trying to convince me to give myself up and marry a complete stranger. Made me feel like I was a hunk of meat being peddled in some marketplace. To them, my failure had branded me a commodity. I become a damaged good. Something to be sold off, my value to be measured in nothing but the children I will bear. Poor girl. I couldn't take it. I absolutely couldn't live like that. So you took off. You could tell? You seemed the type. This makes Evelyn loosen up again, but only a little. That's good. I have to try to help her feel better. I hope I didn't spoil her night. I'll go ahead and take that as a compliment. Good, it was meant as one. ... I hadn't meant to bring up bad memories. Like I said, it's fine. It's nice to finally be able to talk to someone about it. It's all been bottled up so long. I know how you feel. You can keep going if you like. Well, the rest is a lot of the same. I packed up some clothes and some books and snuck out in the middle of the night. I stayed in the city a while with friends and the like. Figured it was the safest way. After some time though, I knew I had to get farther away than that. Somewhere my parents wouldn't find me. So I ran, wandered from place to place, took cabs and buses when I could, walked when I couldn't, hitchhiked when I absolutely needed to. It wasn't too safe, and as a girl I had to be careful, but I was smart. I kept my eyes open and it's taken me this far. How far is this far? Far enough. But, I don't know. I called my parents a few times just to let them know I was still alive. I'm a good girl like that. At first, they were even more furious than they'd been while I was at home. They threatened to call the police after me. Oh, threatened me when I said I wouldn't come home. But after some time, as I got farther and farther from home, as I was gone for longer and longer, they started to soften up. Hot rage turned to bold resentment. Resentment turned to disappointment. Disappointment turned to sadness, turned to regret, turned to apology, turned to them begging me to come home. Evelyn looked visibly shaken. I felt so bad for her, but I knew how she felt, and I knew I had to let her finish. Evelyn, ... It's been more than 2 years since I left home. They started begging. By the end of the first year, I couldn't take it, so I stopped calling them. I haven't spoken to them since. Evelyn gazed into her reflection, caught on the polish of her empty glass, warm under the dim bar lights. The night has gone on and many have left. Everything's quieter now. Everything is moving softer, going slower. The night has entered into a dreamlike state. I place a hand on Evelyn's shoulder softly. I want to comfort her. You don't want to go home? No, I do. Believe me, this sort of life gets tiring after a while. Having no safety, no security, always needing to move from place to place. Searching for warmth every single night and praying every single morning you'll be able to find work and to feed yourself. It drains you, it takes a lot away, and it makes you lose your sense of place. When you can't ever stay in one place too long, it feels like everything in your life has a time limit set on it. It takes away, and it couldn't care less about what you want. The time runs out, and one by one, everything in your life melts away. The people you meet, the things you gain, the sights you see, they leave, and you're left with nothing again. And do you know what to do then? Yeah. You start over. You feel like you don't have any control over anything. Like you're not even the person living your life. You feel like you're only sitting back and watching events unfold. Like you're an observer from the outside looking in on yourself. Evelyn seems surprised. It looks like I've understood her perfectly well. Right, that's how I feel. Thank you. Don't mention it. That's truly how I feel, and I hate it, and I want to stop, and I want to go home, but I can't. I just can't go home. I don't have it in me to go home. You're afraid of what will happen if you do. I'm beyond afraid. I'm petrified. I can't even breathe right when I think about seeing my parents again. Even though this journey's taken so much away from me, I feel like just giving up and returning home isn't going to give me any of that back. It isn't. I feel like if I want to get back everything that's been drained out of me, I need to find something. I don't know what, just that it's something I'm searching for. And if I find it, I can't go back and live a normal life again. Evelyn sighs. If any of that makes sense to you, I try to assure her. Really, I understand. I'm in the same situation as you. I am. You're a runaway too? I shrug. Something like that, but I can't say much. Well, that's not suspicious. No, it's nothing like that. I'm not a criminal. Obviously. I'm not a clean. I just need to travel a lot. It's something I have to do. I go from place to place like you, and I search for things. I'm like you. Evelyn, ... Don't worry, I know you're like me. I don't know if I knew before we started talking, but I definitely know now. I think that's why I've told you so much about myself. never spoken so much about myself before, not to anyone, not in my whole life. I've never spoken much at all, really. Hello! Welcome to my live stream. So I've heard. So that's alright. You don't have to explain yourself to me. Considering the apology for me spending the last hour talking about nothing but myself, I'm sorry for that. I dismissed her with a wave. Really, it's fine. I don't think I've ever talked to anyone like this either, and I'm glad I could help you finally opening up about these things. Evelyn Pins. And it's all thanks to the fact that you liked my singing so much you needed to tell me, huh? I laughed. Well, I did say you have a beautiful voice. We talked on and on, long into the night. We tell stories, learn about each other, come to understand everything there is to understand. Still, I don't tell her my secret. What's your secret? But the conversation brims with life anyway. I'm not spoken like this to someone in a long time. I've not felt this way about someone in a long time. The night is long and full of joy. We keep each other's company, talking till we're the only ones left in the bar. Under the cover of the winter storm, under the dim bar lights, under the drowsy spell of insomnia, we talk and talk and talk until we can talk no more. Bartender: holy hell, you two have been sitting here and talking the whole night long. The bar's closing now. You're going to have to head on out. Evelyn said, I'm sorry, sir. I hope you weren't a bother. You're fine, your young lady, bartender says. But you should have this young man escort you home. You've had a long night. Evelyn said, but I'm not drunk. I can speak perfectly fine, see? Bartender: yes, and it's unnerving considering how much you've had to drink. The bartender turns to me and gives me a wise, slow nod. Wayfarer: I'll get her home safe. The snow has finally stopped, leaving behind a sleepy town draped in white. The snow is thick, cold, soft like the stuff of dreams. It feels like the ground itself is sleeping, dripping in time and space and frozen in winter silence. Dormant like a slumbering beast, waiting to awaken in the snow melt, its heart stilled by the seething cold. Like Evelyn and I are the only two walking people on the face of the entire earth. Evelyn grins at me smugly. Evelyn: my knight is shiny armor. Are you going to escort me home and protect me from all the evil monsters? I refuse to play to her game. Wayfarer: yes, I swear to always safeguard you from the evils that plague the town of Cedar, Maine. Sub-zero temperatures and poorly paved roads. Evelyn: they really are so poorly paved. Yes, I've noticed. Your motel is across the bridge, right? My castle is, yes. Right, let's go on ahead. And so we were off. Together, we strolled in the cold, huddling close to each other for warmth. Thankfully, the walk wasn't too long. We talked all the way to Evelyn's motel, despite having done nothing but for hours already at the bar. By the way, Emmeline says, yeah, what is it? Wayfarer: I was wondering if you knew what the meaning of that song you sang tonight was, the first one, that is. What? Loch Lomond? That's the one. It's Scottish. That's all I know. My mother taught it to me, just like her mother taught it to her. She taught me a lot of the folk music I know, really. Emmeline said, I was never as big into the heritage as she was. But to answer your question, no. I guess I don't know what it's about. I just sing the words. Wayfair said, a folk singer who doesn't know what her songs are about? I like the songs. I love how they sound. I just don't know the traditional meanings behind each and every one of them. I suppose that's fair. But Loch Lomond, right? Isn't that about two people traveling down different roads? At surface value, yes, it all comes back to Scottish tradition. Wayfarer. It is believed that when a Scot dies while abroad, their soul will walk the earth to return to the mother country, so that the deceased may rest in their homeland. The road that these wandering spirits use to return to Scotland is called the Low Road, as mentioned in the song. The regular corporal roads that living people like you and I use are the high roads. The high road belongs to the living, the low road to the dead. That belief is what the song centers around. That's a bit depressing, don't you think? Quite the contrary. Think about what the lyrics are saying. You sing from the perspective of a Scot who has died while traveling in a foreign land. You lament that, although the passage of time has taken your friends and your lover away from you, you will finally be able to end your journey and return to your home, where you can finally rest in peace. ... I don't know. That's still very depressing to me. Wayfarer. I don't think so. I think it's bittersweet. The journey of the singer has come to an end, but now that it's over, they can return to where they belong. I don't know. Personally, I love the song. Sometimes I feel like I take solace in it. Emmeline said, you find comfort in a song that tells you you're going to die? I do. We all die. And every death is an ending. But what the song tells me is this. When my time comes, it will be when I have done all I can in my life. I will have found what I was searching for, and I will have brought it home with me. It tells me that it will be my end, not that I'll be stuck like I am, unchanging, constantly moving, always searching. This person I am right now is in caustic flux, and the days of my life are numbered with a clear beginning and a faithful end. I don't see any problem in that. In fact, considering neither of us have slept all night, some rest sounds like exactly what we need right now. Emmeline goes quiet as she takes in everything I say. Emmeline, ... Yeah, I suppose you're right. We could both use some rest. Emmeline said, you know, maybe not. Just before we reached the motel, Emmeline stops me in my tracks. She points off to the side of the path where a small park lies unlit in the snow. Hey, something wrong? No. She's acting incredibly meek. Did I say something I shouldn't have? There's a cute little park here where I come to sit sometimes. It's on top of a big hill, and if you're seated in the benches, you can watch the sunrise and sunset from here. It's beautiful. I like to sit and watch the sunrise here with you, if you want to do that. She wants to watch the sunrise with me. Emmeline, it's late. We should really get you to your room. Emmeline points to the sky. It does look like the sun is about to rise. Violet and pink hues are starting to show in the sky, shining in faint ripples in between the clouds. Emmeline says, "See, we might as well just stay outside the whole night." She laughs softly. "It looks like we just did anyway." She's right. It had completely gone unnoticed, but we really had spent the whole night together. A new day was about to dawn. I had forgotten how quickly time could pass when you were with a certain kind of person. When you were with someone like Emmeline. Wayfarer, you're right. Looks like we stayed up the whole night together. I chuckle. We are horribly irresponsible. Emmeline laughs more. Just a little bit. We find a bench overlooking the hillside. I wipe the snow off it with the sleeve of my coat, and we sit down close to each other for warmth. Emmeline pulls herself even closer to me, tugging at my arm. She leans her head on my shoulder and shuts her eyes. "Aww." Emmeline says, "You don't mind, do you?" I'm so tired. I think I'll rest my eyes for a while until the sunrise starts. Wayfarer says, "It's fine. I think I'll do the same thing." I close my eyes and rest my thoughts. It's been a wild night, and I'm so tired. Wayfarer ... Emmeline ... Wayfarer ... Emmeline ... Wayfarer says, "Hey, Emmeline." "Yeah?" "I'm going to tell you a story. It's a short story, but it's a complicated one. It's an important one. At the end of the story, you're going to have to decide what happens next. I want you to be completely honest with me when I ask you to do that. Alright?" Emmeline yawns. Alright. I hope I'm making the right choice here. How do I even begin to explain? Say, in the world, there's a young man out there who's been given the gift of eternal youth. Oh, it's him! He's cursed with eternal youth! Oh, shoot! At first, that young man was amazed. He was filled with joy. He was forever young, forever handsome, and forever strong. The passage of time had no effect on him. It didn't chip away at him like it did everyone else he knew. He spent some time loving this new life of his, until he realized that the gift he'd been given was, in the end, a curse. Eventually, the young man saw what the passage of time could really do. He saw all the people he cared about wither away one by one. Family, friends, lovers. He could have done nothing but watch as each and every one of them fell into the grip of death from which he had been spared. He saw the places he knew as a child crumple into dust, forgotten, thrown away like false memories. First, he lost his home, then his people, then his own way of life. He was forced to escape, to break out and enter into a new world where he did not belong. He felt lost in that new world, hopeless, alone, forgotten. But eventually he got used to it. He realized there wasn't any point in wallowing in despair at the life he's been given, and so he started to rebuild. He gave himself a new life, a new identity. But he lived knowing that there was one thing he never could do. He could never stay in one place for too long. If he did, he knew he would build bonds. He would form memories With the new places he found and the new people he met, he would make friends. He would feel emotions all over again in all their full intensity. And that was something he could not afford, because he knew any bond he built would come only crashing down upon him in the end. The more people he came to know, the more people whose departures would hurt him. The more time he spent in any one place in the world, the more pain he was damning himself to suffer. He was truly cursed. All he could do was run farther and farther and farther, as far as he could go towards infinity. As long as time continued to pass, he suffered the life of a wanderer destined to be alone. But one night, he meets someone, and that someone makes him feel some way he had not felt since before his journey ever began. Someone special, someone like him, who understood him, who felt his pain, who knew how it felt to endure. He thinks he's found someone that could teach him how to love again. But he knows if he stays there with that person he's found, he will only hurt them in the end. Because if he stays with that someone, they will age and he will not. They will die and he will not. And in his failure to die, he will rob them their chance at a normal life. He will take their life as his own, and in the end, he will find himself all alone again. What does he do then? What choice does he make? Does he stay or does he leave? Does he chase that chance at true emotion, even if the knows in the end it will cause only despair? Tell me, what choice does he make? ... What choice does he make, Emmeline? What choice do I make? Wayfarer ... Emmeline? I open my eyes. I see the sun has begun to rise. To my side, Emmeline is asleep, fast asleep. I take a long, final look at her. She's so beautiful. Her heartbeat pulses through her skin, through her dress, through her coat, through all the way to me. I can feel it thrum steadily against me. I can feel it throb over and over again, full of such amazing life. I watch her breath freezing as it comes out in the crisp, cold air. Her skin is soft and warm to the touch. I think of her and how she treated me, a stranger who hadn't even told her his name, with nothing but kindness. This is a real person beside me, with a real heart, pumping real blood, with real emotions and real thoughts, and the most beautiful voice I've ever heard in my life. This is Emmeline, and no matter how greatly I long to be with her, I cannot stay with her, and she cannot stay with me. It was never meant to be. I stand up carefully, holding her still to make sure she doesn't wake up. Once I'm off the bench, I set her down to be as comfortable as I can make her. Thankfully, it's warming up, and I think she'll wake up soon after I leave. Just in case, I take off my coat and wrap it around her to make sure she's warm enough. I glance at the sunrise out on the horizon. I can't bear to look at it too long. I turn back, gaze at her one last time. The girl in the green dress, sleeping on the park bench. If only things had been different, then perhaps I could be happy once more. I begin to walk away. I stop myself from looking back. Wayfarer, Emmeline, I'm sorry. Goodbye. I walk away into wilderness as the sun rises over the trees. I vanish like a ghost from a dream, wiping tears from my eyes. All I leave behind are footprints in the snow that are soon swept away by a winter wind. June 13th, 1987. June in Maine is still June. I should be accustomed to walking on bacon asphalt by now. I travel light, always have. The weight I carry has nothing to do with what's in my pack. Heavy thoughts are always with me, my memories constant companions on the road. So many roads, so many paths, so many years. So many lives it seems. It feels like forever since I was last in Canada. I wonder if it will still feel the same, raw and wild and seemingly untouched. Something tells me it will always have that feel, no matter how much concrete and glass are poured and polished. I think that memories can be that way too. As the years pass, the details suddenly shift, but the feel seems to stay the same. Then again, we can choose to let certain memories fade. And those memories will allow it, of course. Hang on. Then again, we can choose to let certain memories fade, and those memories will allow it, of course. I'm aware of my footfalls on the pavement, the undulating drone of the insects in the tall grass that parallels the road. I can feel the hot sun on my skin, untouchable harshness to the yellow light. The few clouds in the uniformly blue sky are static and wispy, as though painted onto a canvas. There's no breeze to add energy to my experience. The leaves of the trees are still, like the clouds. I'm literally passing through a long series of moments unbroken by motion. Except for me. If I am the only thing moving, does that mean that the world is a canvas and I am little more than a thought passing through? My mind soars across the tapestry of my experiences, touching down at an area of memory, then taking flight again in search of the next place of interest. The miles pass, the sounds and the sun and the grass and the trees blending into a nearly uniform background. It seems as though the only things truly moving are my thoughts. The sensation of that notion intrigues me, distracts me for a while, until a new sound breaks the spell of forever. Time is suddenly back on the clock, and is ticking is the sound of the large diesel engine of an 18-wheeler. I am ripped out of my reverie at the beautiful monotony of the world, finding myself charmingly present. The driver of a large red truck downshifts as he descends the slow grade, leveling off and closing the distance to me slowly, black plumes puffing briefly from the twin stacks behind the cab. Well, what the hell, maybe he'll take a rider for a while. I turn and begin to walk backwards and stick my thumb in the air. A few short seconds pass and the driver begins downshifting again, the engine braking, indicating to me that I am about to replace the drone of insects and the heat of the sun with the rhythm of an engine and the chill of air conditioning. The truck passes me slowly, coming to a halt just a few yards later. The hiss of the air brakes and the solid rattling drum of the engine waiting for me. I walk up to the door as the window smoothly slides down. and I step on the running board with a hand on the mirror brace to render a greeting to who will be my traveling companion for God knows how long. Wayfarer, morning, sir. Where are you headed? I feel genuinely friendly as the two of us engage in that age-old mutual summing up that travelers have always done, leading to a gut instinct about trust. It takes mere seconds for us both to decide. Trucker Levis, just south of Quebec City, running straight through Maine. He has an accent straight out of the American northern Midwest, and looks to be about 50 years old. I cannot remember the last time I thought that was old. How about you? As far as you'll take me, if that's alright, sir. Hop in and let's put some miles behind us then, buddy. I swing the heavy door wide and slide in, then set my pack at my feet before closing the window and belting myself in. I never thought about 18-wheelers having a new car smell, but this one did. It was obviously new to the road and very well maintained. Wow, this truck is beautiful. The trucker laughs, and that plastic large center console lovingly. She's not even 3 months old. We're still getting used to each other. The trucker is wearing a gray t-shirt and jeans and a ball cap with an American flag on the front. He has two faded green tattoos, one on each arm. His hair is cut a little on the short side and hasn't shaved in a couple of days by the looks of it. I drove my last truck for almost 20 years, but she decided that she'd run her last mile. It still feels a little weird driving without her. The way the trucker spoke about his truck felt instantly familiar, and I found myself nodding in understanding. This new one, though, I think she and I are going to be together for the rest of my time on the road. So where do you call home? You're sitting in it. I've been living on the road and out of motels for years. Being gone so much was never a good fit for a home life, and besides, I have a bit of a wanderlust. I can relate. I bet you can, as far as you are from, well, anywhere. The trucker spoke while he smoothly shifted gears, the powerful truck pulling his load effortlessly, the vibrations of the huge engine absorbed by surprisingly comfortable seats. The AC felt rejuvenated too. Yeah, I've been traveling for most of my life. First in the army, then when I got home from the war, I just couldn't sit still. Been on the road ever since. I tend to stick around a place for a while myself, and then it just feels like it's time to go, I guess. Yep, I know what you mean, buddy. Once I got home from the war, I never really felt like I fit in, no matter how much I wanted to. I don't understand why, and figured I'd find what I was looking for on the road. And did you? To be honest, I'm not sure, but I did find happiness, and that's what all the hippies were always talking about, so I guess at least I found something. I think there's a certain freedom to keep it moving. Plenty of time to think, that's for sure. I drive, and when I feel like resting, I stop. As long as I stay on schedule, nobody pays me much mind, and that's just fine with me. As the trucker shared a bit of his life with me, I watched the coiled cord for the CB radio set sway. Plenty of time to think. The trucker and I really do seem to have a lot in common. Trucker says, sometimes I think that I'm probably missed out on quite a bit of life though, to be honest. I mean, I have family and I keep up with them well enough. So I sort of let them live more normal lives for me. If that makes any sense at all. I think it makes a lot of sense. I have tried the normal life a few times, but I always end up back on the road in the end, waiting for the next stop. You ought to think about driving trucks. It seems like you're a good fit for it. Better than walking all the time, that's for sure. I've never considered it, to be honest, but I see your point. I'm not sure if the pace will feel quite right, though. Wayfarer said, walking has such a familiar feel to it for me. Now, I'm not sure if I would like to change. Most people are creatures of habit. You can't deny that. In a way, being a drifter is a habit, too. I can't disagree, although for me it's as much a need as it is a habit. No matter how much I like a place, I just can't stay. Eventually it's time to go, whether I like it or not. Some of us just aren't meant to put down deep roots, buddy. The deeper the roots, the harder it is to tear yourself away when it's time to leave. I imagine you're right about that. Our conversation falls off into a comfortable silence, the world outside passing by. My eyes move to the distance ahead, taking in the slow approach of forests and roadside meadows and following the minor, gradual turns as the road makes its way northward. Looking out up the side window and focusing a little closer reveals how fast we really are going. The trees more of a blur, the details outside more elusive and difficult to focus on. It's about perspective, really. Looking forward into the future, things seem further away, moving more slowly. You can take your time to consider it, to think about where you might be going. Looking around at where you are in the moment, that feels much more fleeting. The pace is quicker. It can be difficult to fully notice all the details before things change. The past, however, is always there, frozen in memory. You have the rest of your life to think about it, reflect upon it. In my case, there is plenty of time to think about the past. Too much time, actually. I wish that I had the luxury of living in the moments without the specter of the future always looming in the background, always knowing that no matter what, I always have to leave. People living their lives so often seem to be able to appreciate things in the moment so long as they slow down a bit, building memories at their natural pace. For them, there is a beginning and an end. The middle part is life. I would like to take my time for once. Many people say they feel rushed. I feel the opposite. Inexorable expiration of each period of normal. They have a finite amount of life and can live normally within the time that they are given. Whereas I, with nothing but time, struggle. Hello. Perspective, it affects the way we live. The passing of time, I think, does too. No matter what happens, I always end up gradually losing sync with everyone around me. Relationships, friends, co-workers, every time I find a good place, a good thing, the clock starts ticking. The longer I stay, the louder the ticking, and the more out of sync I become, and the deeper my roots could reach. Eventually, I must move on. I rip myself out of that life, tearing others in the doing, and leave that normalcy behind forever, as well as the emotional wreckage shared with people who will never understand why. I know deep down inside that it is best to avoid making any meaningful connection because I will have to move on, and I hate myself for making anyone share that pain. They don't deserve it. But once in a while, a connection just happens. I wish that I could just enjoy that simple human experience without the inevitability that shadows what could that shadows what should be something beautiful, something simple and warm. Always that damn shadow, always. I am lost in thought, traveling through time in my own head, when an all too familiar name, a name that I have been desperately trying not to think about, demands that its presence be known. Emmeline. Aww. I speak it out loud, not realizing that the trucker might hear it over the sound of the engine. The trucker says, Emmeline, huh? Is she why you've been lost outside that window for the past hour? His half smile is simultaneously knowing and why. I exhaled an empty laugh. I wonder if he isn't right about that. The trucker lets the moment sit for a few seconds and then cocks an eyebrow. Trucker says, it's funny, as much as I loved my old truck, I never gave her a name. Some truckers do, the sentimental ones anyway. I wonder why I never named her. At first, I thought that he had dropped his interest in Emmeline's name and my contemplation. But as the trucker spoke, I realized that he wasn't delving into his fellow traveler's life. He was sharing the journey. I was closer to that old truck than I was with anyone. I do admit that I had plenty of conversations with her, though. All the time, actually. She was a pretty good listener, that's for sure. But it's funny. In the war, my buddies and I stopped using first names. We came up with nicknames, things like that. It seemed at the time that we were all just close, you know? But I wonder if maybe it was something else. Maybe it was a way for us to not get too close after all. Makes me wonder, you know? I think on that for a minute. That girl in the green dress captivated me. She unassumingly commanded my attention. There was something about her that just drew me in, captivated me. But when I learned her name, it became personal, intensely personal. We shared such a connection. And then I had to go. I had no choice. I cared too much for her to put her through what would have to come. What always has to come. I cared for her. It only took one night and a name. I think you may just be onto something there, sir. We both spent the next few hours in total silence, except for a brief stop for fuel, roadside coffee, and a bathroom break. Two travelers sharing a journey. It was a good day. The sun was beginning to show the age of the day. The trees were beginning to cast shadows over the road, and the road signs were beginning to reflect that golden sunlight so characteristic of long summer days. Sidar's 30 miles. Damn it. I shifted in my seat and watched the sign as it approached with increasing speed, my eyes following it as it passed by. Sidar, Maine. Now that's one of those towns that you'll miss if you blink too long. You look like you recognize it? I sigh and nod. You know, that coffee sure is running through me. I think we'll try not to blink when we get to Sidar so I can enjoy the last civilized bathroom for hours. Sidar, damn it. It takes no time at all to get there. Not enough time to think. Not enough time to talk myself out of the decision, fighting to make his way to the surface of my mind. The truck comes to a gradual stop in a gravel pull-off, heavy tires crunching, air brakes squealing, engine slowly to an idle, everything slowing down. The trucker sets the brake and cuts the engine off. A shudder through the big vehicle, implying a little more than a brief stop. He lifts the door latch and half opens the door, one foot reaching for the running board. I'll be a little bit, so feel free to stretch your legs. There is a hint of something in his voice, almost a knowing tone. This guy really is intuitive for having spent so much time alone on the road. Goes with the territory, I suppose. I'll see you in a bit, buddy. There is the hint of a wry, crooked smile on the trucker's face. I'm certain he knows that I am connected to Cedar and that it's because of Emmeline, or maybe not. The trucker's boots grind into the gravel as he heads off, leaving me to choose which fork in a road to take. I woke up this morning expecting to walk all day, possibly more. Then the truck lumbered along, and for a while I rode with another traveler and my thoughts. It's interesting that despite the seeming randomness of today, I still wound up in Cedar. Exactly where my thoughts were leading me, apparently. To stay or go. While I considered what I should do, I shouldered my pack. I shut the heavy door of the big red machine as I recalled the layout of the little town quietly waiting before me. As I tried to decide what to do, I began walking along the single main road through Cedar. The trees are thick here, providing ample shade interspersed with patches of waning sunlight. I passed the general store on the right. I need to make a choice. I look up and see the path to the bench that overlooks the sunrise. It hits me. Did I ever really have a choice today? My path was leading me back to Cedar one way or another. The road, the truck, my thoughts, all of it led to Cedar. I veered left, crossed the road, and stepped up onto the old wooden stairs to the hearth and home. The steps have a reassuring, organic feel to them, oddly rustic and welcoming. I can feel warmth radiating from the sun-soaked bricks. Hang on, I wanna... Whoa there. I think I'm going to give this a shot. It's almost as though fate led me here, and on some instinctive level, I get the feeling that I was heading here all along. My hand closes around the old wrought iron door handle as the sound of the truck's engine passes by, followed by the bell of an air horn. As the trucker continues on his own path, the surrounding forest swallows up the roar of the engine, and as suddenly as they were there, they are gone again. There is a magic to this place. I open the door and step into the cool darkness. The fading light from outside momentarily illuminates the room, and the bartender looks up to greet his first customer of the day. My eyes take a second to adjust, but there is no doubt. This place really hasn't changed. The present and the past crash together, and are surprisingly nearly indistinguishable. Indistinguishable. Okay, got it. The bartender is a bit of an exception, though. His hair is gray, and his face has more lines than when last we met. He sets a glass down behind an old, polished dark wood bar, and there is a look of growing recognition in his eyes, but that same look is clouded by doubt. Afternoon, what can I get you? A beer will be fine, thank you. You got it. The bartender smoothly and deftly fills the glass and sets it down in front of me on a plain white napkin, making brief eye contact that somehow conveys the notion that he has decided upon something. So, just passing through again, I look up from my beer and look at him. There is a small smile and a knowing look in his eyes. His memory is excellent, what do I say? I was thinking that maybe this time I'll stay a bit longer this time. The weather's nicer, that's for sure. You know, I never forget a face. Then again, normally those faces age a little in 20 years. How are you? It's a long story. I believe that. You know, I've counted every day since that winter night. Why have you returned? Surely you wouldn't have come back here after 2 entire decades just to have a drink here at my bar. I'm not entirely sure, to tell you the truth. A gentle silence fills the air between us as he hands me the beer and I take a sip, clearing my throat. I'm not sure if you will be able to help me, but I have a favor to ask. Shoot. Last time I happened my way into this bar, do you remember the charming girl in green? Her voice was enchanting. One of a kind, really. Whatever happened to her? Emmeline? Well, luck would have it. She still lives here in Cedar. Actually, she still comes to help out from time to time here at this dusty old place. My eyes light up with this very, very good news. She's still here, even after all this time? I can hardly believe it. Yeah, she lives just down the road with her husband and young boy. I feel crushed. I'm not sure what I was expecting really, but it hurts nevertheless. The bartender must have caught on as she continues. Does this change anything? I assume you had something in mind. While it should, it doesn't really. I'm not entirely sure what I would have done anyhow. Would it be wrong of me to ask of an actress? Hang on, let me... While I would give it to you regardless, it's not necessary. She comes by every morning with her son to help set up for the day. You should come again tomorrow, as I assume you are planning to stay for a while? Yeah, I'll be here. Thanks, really, it means a lot. Don't mention it, anything for an old friend. With that, I sip my beer and think of the coming events. The fear that she won't recognize me once again crosses my mind, but I push it off in search of a bed to lay my head. I nod to the bartender and make my way to a local motel to rest up for the night. The next morning, I arrive early enough to help the bartender with the tables, stools, and chairs. The worn wood seemed to embody the place as a whole, well worn with time and filled with warmth. I take a seat in front of the bar as the old man organizes a rainbow of colored glass bottles behind it. Calm down, son. You think someone with as much experience as you would have learned to deal with these situations? Saying goodbye is easy, but the returns and the greetings? The old man met my eyes and inclined his head toward the door, making my best effort to keep my door. I noticed Emmeline and her son, probably around 7 years old, an inquisitive, blue-eyed boy with brown hair. Emmeline glances around the bar and seems mildly disappointed. Her gaze flits over me as it would one of the tables. She approaches the old man. You set up without me? Sorry, Em. I should have mentioned earlier that I have a new employee in training. He helped me this morning. We still have the stage to set up though. I'll give you some work yet. She looks at me directly for the first time, but there is no spark of memory in her eyes. Only the casual oh my god! Friendliness, okay, of someone greeting a new acquaintance. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Emmeline, and this is my son, Michael. Michael plays with the collar of his shirt and averts his eyes. Hi. I give him a smile and a wave, and then extend my hand to Emmeline. She takes it. I take a page out of Michael's book. I'm too nervous to meet her gaze directly for too long. It's nice to meet you both. Right? Well, that stage isn't going to set up itself, Em. Why don't you and Michael teach this bringing here the ropes? I've got a few more glasses to clean. Emmeline nods and gestures for Michael to follow her to the stage. Have you ever worked in a bar before? I know my way around one. Don't we all? Michael climbs up the front of the stage and seemed to be opening a bin that contained the cables. How old are you, 25? I'm a little older than I look. I'm assuming he's done this before. Emmeline walks behind the stage to retrieve a broom and a dustpan before starting to sweep behind the speakers, amps, and other sound equipment. Yeah, he loves to listen to music, so this is right up his alley. It's karaoke night tonight, so the setup will be a little different. I set about putting a microphone centered stage, and I feel something nudge my leg. I see Michael holding a cable towards me. That one goes with this one. Oh, thanks. What kind of music do you enjoy, Michael? I take the cable you offer me and hook it up. Surely enough, the audio jack and ports are the correct sizes, and the cable is long enough to walk around the stage with if necessary. The stray cats and he looks at his mother for answers, looking anxious. You remember that preachy mold? Sometimes you listen to Michael Jackson. I'm more of a Simon and Garfunkel gal myself. The new stuff isn't bad, but there's something about the acoustic guitars. It brings to mind the open road and people singing in new bars, soft atmospheres, and a good crowd. Emmeline looks back at me and gives me a genuine smile. Not the practiced friendliness of polite greeting, but something with altogether more substance. Michael and I finished setting up all of the relevant chords. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Well, it's about time. I have to get Michael to school. Emmeline waves goodbye to the bartender and takes Michael's hand, walking toward the door. Same time tomorrow. Have a good day. Emmeline pauses before she reaches the door and freezes in place. At first, I wonder if she had forgotten something, but then she turns and I see it. That spark of remembrance, the warmth in her eyes that signifies memory. Now she knows who I am. She remembers that night, 2 decades past. She brings a hand to her cheek as Michael tugs at her shirt. Mommy, are you okay? I'm alright. Let's get you to school. I sigh and lean against the warm mahogany of the bar, and I can hear the bartender pouring a glass of something. I didn't bother to turn around. My eyes were fixed on the road, watching them drive away. Well, you couldn't have been expecting anything else, could you? No, I couldn't have. Do you want to hear the story of that winter night? Yeah, why not? This is for you, by the way. Looks like you could use it on the house. I turn it up to pick it up, and I take a sip, but my gaze remains on the road. Emmeline is long gone by now, but I can't bring myself to look aside again. Not just yet. I don't know how much you remember. Em and I left after talking, really bonding, at one of these tables by that window. I gestured in the general direction with a finger extended from my hand that I held my drink. The brownish fluid splashed around behind the intricate lines in the glass, and I realized that it was the same kind I had used that night so many years ago. We walked out of this place together and explored the town after dark. We sat on that bench, overlooking the snow, talking of ourselves. Such a simple yet meaningful thing, sitting close and talking. I brought up the legend of the Wanderer. I didn't think she'd take it seriously. But she did. She listened, and in the end, she identified with it. Of course, you know Emmeline's story, how she got here. She has every bit as much wanderlust as I did. I take a sip from my glass and turn around before looking into the cup. Or had. I guess everyone else like me eventually grows out of that phase. I suppose a part of me realized it then. I didn't want to break her heart, so I just left. Ultimately, I shouldn't be surprised that she didn't remember me at first. I'm sure she had to deal with her share of people walking out of her life. It was only one night. It was a long night. The old man puts a comforting hand on my shoulder. You know, I didn't think Emmeline would ever settle down, but her husband, well, you like him. He runs a tri-country newspaper. Takes the family camping often in the summer and autumn. You couldn't ask for a better life for her or her son in this town. I nod and hand the bartender back his glass. Thanks for the drink, and thanks for the cover earlier. Do you really need some help around here? That I do. If you want to settle in for a few years, I'd love to have you around, but you know what happens if you stay a wanderer? You sure you want to deal with that? I ran a hand through my hair and looked outside, wondering what it would be like to stay in this town for a few years. I think I'm going to get some fresh air. If I return, you'll know my answer. If I don't, well, you'll know just the same. Actually, if you wouldn't mind, I think I need a break for today. If that's okay with you, that's it. Yeah, I'll close up shop. I'll keep everything straight, don't worry. The bartender nods, wipes a few more surfaces, and heads out. He gives me one last fleeting smile before the door closes with an odd sense of finality. With that, I'm left alone. The emptiness of the bar fills the air, silence keeping me company as it has the past 100 years. The familiar smells of drafts, the atmosphere of the community made of vagabonds and travelers, friends and families of those with homes and those who have yet to find theirs, the familiar sense of loneliness. Have I found my home? Is this my final resting place? Is this where I will eke out the rest of my existence, however long it may take me? I honestly don't know. The heat of the bar begins to constrict my breathing, the weight of it all crushing me, claustrophobic claustrophobically, the warm lights of blazing fire. Tugging at my collar, I grab my belongings and walk out the door. Walk out of the door. It closes ever so softly behind me, the entrance framing me, engulfing me. I turn and make my way down the street. Buildings, both new and old, guide me, gradually giving way to more and more nature as I continue my journey. I find myself in front of a large, somewhat young tree. Its appearance does little to betray the true age of the form, being perhaps only 100 years old or so. This is as good a place as any, and I sit against it, allowing the truck to support my back. I ache. I ache like an old man would, despite having no reason to. My body is fine. My body is young, despite my mind not being so. Cool air fills me. It brings me as the winds dance upon my skin. The tree responds in kind, swaying this way and that, lively, almost youthful and energetic, life only just beginning for the poor soul. I sit motionless, knowing what must come. I need not distract myself. I have a very important decision to make. It's a simple decision, really. Something a normal person would even hesitate to answer. Do I stay or do I go? The wind quiets down, all things listening intently to my every word, my every thought. I guess in reality, the more important question is whether or not she would care. Does she remember me? That moment earlier gave me the feeling, but how could she forget the magical night? All of my many years of existence, that is the one memory that I am certain to never lose. Maybe she just did what I never could. The air turns frigid, human. Someone shakes me out of my lull, my trance, my thoughts and memories. Rain. It's raining. The rain continues to shake me, spreading through my clothes, across my cold skin. I know what I have to do. It isn't about me, it's about everyone else, isn't it? I can't keep hurting people like this. It's for the better that I don't stay. They have to keep secrets, hide me away, or worse still, they have to die. Seeing my eternal youth, seeing what they once were and what they could never be. They all die, and I still be there, forever burying them, the job of a father at war or a son in peace. I'm not like them. I am not one of them. It is not my place to be here, to serve as a constant reminder of what they must have, and what I am fated to never feel. Shivering now, I try to stand up, to walk away from everything. I can't. My muscles refuse to respond, screaming at me, aching through and through. My heart gives out, telling me what my brain never would, never should. Don't run from this. Stay here. Don't leave her again. No, no, I can't. I can't stay here. And yet I can't leave her either. The rain penetrates the canopy, pouring over me, tearing me from my few short moments of quiet clarity. I'm sorry that you have to go through this again. I forced myself through the pain, standing on my youth, with it regaining my stature. I leaped the now corrupted embrace of the tree out into the chill weather. Looking up from my sodden boots, my vision is blocked by the one thing I had planned to never see again. It reads simply, Cedar, Maine. A simple representation of the place, the family that I had grown to love. The aching becomes unbearable, and I am forced to lean against the sign, my full weight causing the sign to waver, temporarily until it catches itself, accepting me. I cannot see the world beyond the sign, my vision entirely blocked. I've made my decision. Please, please, get out of my way. The sign remains, quiet as it always was. I beg, I plead, I can't watch them die. I can't be here. Only pain will come from this. Once again, I will be alone. Once again, I will be held down by my regrets. It remains. The clouds begin to dissipate, the cold rain gone, the warm air flooding down back into me. The crickets begin to chirp, frogs ever so loud, life filling the air. So, the decision has been made for me. Hello! I turn back from the sign, the town of Cedar, Maine, staring right back at me, expecting me to return as if I had never had a second thought. The humid air clings to my skin as I make my way back to the bar. I passed the tree once again, waving its leaves in the wind, welcoming me back. I passed that as the buildings become less sparse and the nature recedes, the bar enters my vision. I enter my home, the heat helping warm my clothes and my skin. I look at the things around me in appreciation, wiping the bar, cleaning it as if it were my own. December 2002. A lone vocalist in a violet dress takes the stage at the Hearst at home. She appears to be close to Michael's age, who is now 24. The girl gazes at the expectant faces all around her. A hush falls over the crowd as she leans into the microphone, and her face betrays not a single emotion but pure wonder. It's almost as if she's somewhere else, remembering better times, preparing to sing to herself in a world that stood still, hanging off her every word. The young woman starts to sing, and the meager audience is immediately captivated. She begins softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Rosa, oh! Come over the hills, my bonny Irish lass. Come over the hills to your darling. You choose the road, love, and I'll make the vow, and I'll be your true love forever. Her voice is beautiful, it wraps around the dark air of the old bar. I knew this song, I knew it well. Though I've heard it sung better before, I admit. Red is the rose that in yonder garden grows. Fair is the lily of the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne, but my love is fairer than any. She has one of the best voices I've heard in all my life. I've only been this absorbed in song once before. The voice of the girl in the blue dress grows and grows and grows, only to fill the air with complete emotion, feelings seething with energy. Like her voice is an endless flowing spring, and to listen to it is drink and drink and drink again. It's nice to feel this way one more time, even if it's not as strongly. The girl in the blue dress continues to sing. While she finishes Red is a Rose and prepares for her next song, she takes a fateful step back from the microphone. Her skin beats with sweat. Her chest heaves up and down to the rhythmic beat of her exhausted heart. Her posture is tired but proud, her breath short but steady, her eyes somber but bright, vibrant with fire. She steps back up to the mic and keeps on singing, "Hello." Across the bar stand the current employees of the Hearst at Home, Candace and Michael, the latter having taken the job his mother was held to help pay for his education. Candace and I are having a lovely conversation, but Michael's unwavering attention is set on the young performer. "Hey, Michael." Candace tries to grab her employee's attention, but has little success. "Mike, hello in there?" Candace gives a defeated sigh and waves a hand in front of Michael's face, tilting him back to reality. "Oh, sorry, Candace, what do you need?" Candace laughs at the young man. She's clearly embarrassed him, so it's no surprise that his face has become several shades redder than some of the blinds behind the bar. "Table 4 was waving you down for refills. Get out there, bud." "All right, I'm on it." Michael prepares several mugs of draft beer, loads them onto a tray, and heads out to the floor. All the while, he pays only minimal attention to his task, still smitten by the young singer. He reminds me of a story my father would tell me. "I know the story you mean, all too well. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." "No, it's alright." Michael returns from his waiting duties. Kenneth gives him what, skip that. I know she's pretty, but please do try to pay attention to our patrons, okay? Yes, ma'am. No. Candace laughs the way her father used to sometimes laugh, with her tired body, hands on her stomach, and leaning back. Michael turns away from his boss and back to the singer. The young performer begins the last verse of her song. I remember one night in the drizzling rain, around my heart I felt the aching pain. Fare thee well, my honey, fare thee well. The song's end is met with a quiet yet suitable applause. I feel reminiscences about my similar experience in the very same bar 35 years prior, and smile in spite of myself. I propose the idea to a young man across the bar. Why don't you buy her a drink after she finishes her set? That's ridiculous. I can't do that. Don't even know her. And how could asking possibly hurt? Besides, you don't need to know her to become friends. I'm nothing more than a stranger to her, though. Ha! Now that is ridiculous. As my father would say, strangers are just friends you haven't met yet. But what if? Mike, you can make excuses till the sun comes up and you're blue in the face. Or you could ask the lady to have a drink with you. Michael stops his protesting and considers the words his companions have shared with him. For a moment, he looks as though he plans to ignore the advice he has received. However, one quick glance at Kenneth's eye confirmed that no, it's not an option. I guess you guys aren't giving me a choice, huh? Absolutely not. Now then, let's talk strategy. Kenneth and I share a laugh while Michael looks on, terrified at the prospect of whatever scheme Kenneth has in store. Mike, that's the end of this set. Get over there and ask her to join us. Kenneth, are you sure that's a good idea? Of course it is. All of my ideas are good ideas. If it were anyone else, I'd disagree. Come on, Michael, get out there. Michael closes his eyes, tenses his body, and hesitantly walks toward the stage. This ought to be good. We should be able to hear them from here. Well, you should be able to hear them from here. Senses of a damn hawk, I tell you. You flatter me. As Rosa finishes the final verse of her set, the dwindling crowd offers up a surprising applause. After the applause dies down, Michael approaches the stage with an ounce of reluctance. Rosa, who is gathering her things, notices him and welcomes him with a greeting, catching him somewhat off guard. Hello, welcome. Candace was right. I could hear them, though just barely. Oh, hello there, you work here, right? Yeah, hello, yes, I work here. That classic awkward Michael charm is second to none. Well, my name's Rosa. What about you? Oh, me? I'm Michael. Rosa tucks her hair behind her ear. It's nice to meet you, Michael. Yeah, you too. Rosa waves and begins to walk away. Wait, excuse me, Rosa. Rosa turns back to face Michael. Yes, what is it? I was wondering if you're not busy, if you'd like to join my friends and I for a drink? Well, I haven't got any plans, so count me in. Michael is clearly surprised that the answer came as easily as it did. Really? Rosa stifles a giggle and smiles. I haven't got any other plans, and I'm sure you and your friends will be fun. Michael's face lights up with joy. In that case, we're sitting right over here. What are they saying? Quiet, they're coming. Oh, Michael is laying down the moves, I see. You're having too much fun with this. Candace lets a carefree laugh out. I'm not having enough fun. Hey guys, this is Rosa. After some quick introductions, Candace makes everyone drinks. These are on the house. We all cheer for Candace's hospitality together. Thank you, Candace. That's too kind of you. I listen in as the other three around the table share their stories, occasionally pitching in my own experiences. Michael and Rosa are fast friends, and by the end of the first hour, the pair get along as if they know each other all their lives. The bar's patrons dwindle until we are the only people left in the building. But even after everyone else is gone, we stay, sharing stories of loss and of hope, of dreams and regrets. Rosa begins to tell her story, and her eyes lit up with a childlike happiness. When I was younger, all I ever wanted to do was go to school to study music. It has always been my passion. So I worked at it from the time I first saw a future in it until I realized the dream. But the light in her eyes fades into a quiet sadness. When I finally made it to music school, it just didn't feel right. I had worked so hard for so long, year after year, but this culmination of my entire childhood led me to disappointment. But I was still determined. Never mind that I couldn't seem to make any friends or do well in my classes. Music was still my passion, so everything else be damned. Rosa wipes a tear from her cheek. For all of my effort and determination, halfway through my first year, I dropped out. I hit rock bottom. I hated myself for quitting, but I never saw the alternative. I wasn't happy. I'm sure as hell not happy now, but I'm better than I was. So I can say with certainty that I don't regret making that decision. What I'm unsure about is where I'm going now. All I have is my music and a will to keep moving forward. So since leaving school, I've been traveling wherever the music takes me. I hope that it can one day lead me to true happiness. I guess for now, I'm just along for the ride. Candace raises her glasses. Well, hell, I drink to that. Rosa nods gratefully to Candace and turns to Michael. I guess I could say I understand some of those feelings. I finished school, but it hasn't really done me much good. As soon as I graduated, I came right back home to Cedar. And I didn't just come back from my mother. Of course I had to, given her health these days. But even if she were in good health, I know I'd still be back here. I kind of feel like I'm in some kind of void, stuck between childhood and true adulthood. Something is holding me back, but I don't know what it is. And I can't, for the life of me, figure out why. The idea that Michael was drawn back to Cedar makes me chuckle. In my experience, getting away from Cedar is one hell of a tax. Not that Cedar is a bad place, mind you, it just has this pull, for lack of a better word. Candace nods in agreement. Cedar's always been good to me and mine. Candace waves a hand over her shoulder, motioning to the empty Hearst home. This old girl's been in the family for 4 generations now. My father, granddad, and great-granddad all put their lives into this place, and I'll be damned if I don't do the same. But this life isn't for everyone. Maybe you just need to broaden your horizons, see more of what's out there. Michael considers this for a moment. Maybe, but I haven't really felt like my life would ever needed to start somewhere else. Then what are you missing, Mike? Michael slumps in defeat. I honestly don't know. Out of the 3 of them, I can relate most to Rosa. She seems to feel like there isn't a place where she belongs. Even so, I can sympathize with Michael and Candace. But, unlike myself or Rosa, Candace is very deeply rooted here in Cedar. Though I've grown to consider her a close friend, we're about as different can get. Michael reminds me of Emma Line, which of course comes as no surprise. He likes his life in Cedar, but he's mindful of his future and where it might take him. Hello! I look up from my empty glass, which I had been absent-mindedly turning over in my hand, and catch Rosa's eyes. She courteously meets my gaze. So how about you? Do you have any grandiose dreams or aspirations? Any miserable failures that landed you where you are now? Yeah, quite a few more than I can count at this point. She narrows her eyes in suspicion. Clearly I piqued her interest. I used to be a lot like you, looking for somewhere I could belong, going wherever the road took me. There's nothing wrong with that, no shame in it whatsoever. It takes time to discover who you are, to find out who you want to be. So what advice could you give? Advice? I hardly think I'm qualified to be giving advice to anyone. I'm not concerned with qualifications, I just want to hear what a similar mind has to tell me. In that case, the best thing I can offer you is this. The belonging that you're searching for, you may never find it. Were circumstances different, I might still be searching for it. What you can do that will make all the difference is really quite simple. Life is going to go on regardless of what you do. Don't just let it happen. Take charge of your own life. Even though you may not find what you search for, it will make that search easier. I've always had trouble putting this into words. It's been in the back of my mind for as long as I can remember, but words always seem to fail me. I guess what I'm trying to say is that you aren't going to find what you're looking for if you are so caught up in the search that you can't see what's in front of you. Rosa sits back in her chair, looking rather confused. I'm sorry if that doesn't make sense. I'm not the best with speaking my thoughts. She shakes her head. No, I think I understand. Candace laughs her usual laugh. Ha, I have no idea what you just said, but I know you're probably right. Anyhow, it looks like we could all use another round. I'll be right back. As Candace goes to retrieve our drinks, my thoughts wander to Emmeline, as they so often do. Tell me, Michael, how is Emmeline doing these days? Hours pass, and it's clear that we've all reached our limit. The clock behind the bar reads 3:36. My goodness, I hadn't realized how early it's gotten. I really should be going. Rosa stands and puts on her coat. Thank you all for a wonderful evening. I'm truly grateful. Rosa, would you mind if I walked you back to your motel? Candace sneaks a wink and a thumbs up in my direction. I can't help but grin. Well, okay, that's very nice of you to offer. As the two prepare to leave, Candace begins to clean up while I lean back in my chair and stretch my tired bones. Hey, Rosa, could you just wait by the door? I'll be there just a minute. Sure. Michael, now standing in front of me alone, turns to me. I just wanted to thank you. Tonight has been one of the most memorable nights of my life, and it's all thanks to your encouragement. There's no need to thank me. We all had a good time. I think it's time I left Sidar. I've spent more time in this little town than I intended to. It's the first time I ever came back somewhere. Hello! But now it's time I move on. Life will go on here, just as it always has. My journey is far from finished. This place has taught me a lot, and I like to think I've given something back. Though no other place will ever quite fill the gap Sidar will doubtlessly leave in my life, I chose to make Sidar a part of me, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. Maybe I don't need to thank you, but let me anyway. You've always been a good friend to me. Let me do the same for you. Michael extends his hand to me, and I take it in mine. We exchange a handshake, meaningful to each of us in different ways. Thank you. Goodbye, Michael. I take a long look around the cozy bar I've become so familiar with. I see the tables and the booths where Candace's loyal patrons gather after a long day's work. I see the bar where I first met Candace and her father before her. I see the stage where I first saw Emmeline all those years ago, the same stage that Rosa just performed on a few hours ago. I close my eyes and breathe in the familiar sense of pine, fire, and alcohol. I will surely miss Sidar. I'll miss the hearse at home. I'll miss Candace, Michael, and now Rosa. I'll miss Emmeline. I will miss them all, but I will never forget them. I stand and walk over to the coat rack, which sits beside the door. My coat is now hanging alone. After putting my coat on, I start out the door, but am quickly halted by the length of a broomstick being thrust in front of me. I know what you're about to do. I never expected you to stay forever. About 2 hours ago, I figured this would be your last night in Sidar. Candace looks very serious when compared to her normal, more gleeful demeanor. Now, after seeing you just a moment ago, I'm certain. It's just time I moved on, Candace. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to stop you. What is it then? She cracks a slight smile, but gives nothing away. Before you go, there's something you need to see. Well, what is it? Come with me. Candace takes me by the arm and leads me behind the bar, through a door, and down a flight of stairs into the wine cellar. She reaches into an empty section of the wine rack and produces a large sealed envelope. There's a chair over there. Take as much time as you need. She hands me the envelope and walks over to the door. Candace turns back to me. She looks sad for a brief moment, but then smiles again. It's been fun. Thank you. Without another word, Without another word, she turns once, closing the door behind her. I sit down in Candace's chair and look at the envelope in my hands. I run my hand across the smooth surface, wondering what this is. Carefully, I tear open the envelope at its seal. Inside are 3 smaller envelopes, each marked with a date: 1967, 1987, and 2002. I start with the envelope labeled 1967. Inside is a letter, handwritten. The handwriting is excellent and unmistakably feminine. Hello, stranger. 2 nights ago, you slipped into my life. You shared with me the best night of my life, and then you were gone, with more mystery than your arrival. For the few hours we spent together, all seemed to be right in the world. All my cares had gone away. It was truly blissful, and then you left so suddenly, so abruptly. You never even said goodbye. The magic dissipated instantly. My bliss shattered, leaving only pain and confusion. That night that we shared, why did we share it? Why did you come into my life, if only to leave hours later? Please don't misunderstand me. Dear stranger, I'm not angry. I hold nothing against you. I only wish I could understand why that night happened. I was sure that we were both so happy, but when you left, I began to have doubts. Had I done something wrong? Were you not happy, as I thought you to be? Of course, thinking back to it now, it all seems a bit silly. It was one night. Nothing gained and nothing lost. I'm sure you had your reasons for leaving. I'm glad it happened. I will always remember it. However, dear stranger, should I ever see you again? Though it seems doubtful, please help me to understand what that night meant. I have an aching desire to know. To be honest, I'm not sure that you will ever read this letter, but I take comfort in knowing that it will not matter if you read it or not. This letter doesn't really mean anything. All I have written here is just the result of one impossible yet undeniable experience, the ramblings of a young woman. My dear stranger, I wrote all of this to ask for an explanation, but it is now clear to me that I will never receive one. You don't owe it to me, so please don't feel as though you do. I'm happy enough to keep the memories of that night precious without anything more. So, my stranger, although you never said it yourself, I will say it now. Goodbye, stranger. Emmeline. It took me a few moments, but eventually I was able to reach for the second letter, dated 1987. I traced a finger over the now familiar script of Emmeline's handwriting before reading her words. Dear young man, I didn't want to believe it was you. Why would you return after just leaving me there? But your face was unmistakable. I'm sure you've heard the expression about not having aged a day. We usually reserve this for women too vain for the truth, or people who've recently had plastic surgery. But in your case, you actually haven't. You look exactly the same as you had all those years ago. I hadn't expected you to return at all after you left me. For a while, I was left to theorize, and I let my imagination run wild. What are you? Some kind of alien in human skin? A super advanced machine? A vampire? And now I remember one of the things you had talked about, the legend of an eternal wanderer. At the time, I dismissed it as drunken rambling. Then I saw you, just yesterday. It had been 2 decades since I'd seen you. Memories fade, but I had my first suspicion when I saw you with Michael. You were helping each other with the audio cables. You might not have even recognized it, but I saw. Clear admiration in your eyes. Admiration and more. Envy? I guess if you really are to live forever, you could never again know childlike wonder and curiosity like Michael could. And then I saw your reflection in the window as I was leaving. I recalled that time when we frolicked around the city in the snow in that moment, and I knew it was you. And now there's a matter of your recovery. If you truly intend to work at the Hersa home, then I'll see you again. Believe me, the temptation is very real to reveal you what you are, but what exactly would that solve? No, it's better to let bygones be bygones. I gain nothing by revealing you, and it would just cause you to leave again. I'm sure you're used to that process by now. I considered asking you what occurred in your past travels. Who else did you meet? Anyone famous? How long have you been around? The things usual people would ask someone like you. But honestly, the numbers and faces of the past matter less than what you felt. I've been on the other side of it. Your emotions, I know what you felt. I'll admit that I hated you for a while, after leaving me on that bench. But now I understand. I forgive you. I hope one day you find a place, or more likely a time, that you can flourish in. With as much loss as I've experienced, yours could only be worse. I wish you best, stranger. Sincerely, Emmeline. She signed her name in that familiar script. I could feel the pressure of tears welling in my eyes now. Wishing I could have spoken to her. If she knew who I was, then I could have apologized for leaving her all alone on that frosty bench decades ago. Clearly, she had cared for me enough to not reveal who I was to everyone. At the very least, I had the privilege of making that kind of connection. The only kind of connection I truly ever established. To you. I will write to you once again, and this will be my last. I have grown old and feeble, but alas, you are just as I remember you from all those years ago. I'm sorry that you'll never be able to grow old. My life, my son, my family, they have given me joy, just as the night we spent together so long ago did. Candace has been filling me in on all the fun I've been missing, so I'm grateful to her for that. I trust that she'll deliver these letters to you when the time is right. Hi everybody! Thank you for watching. We've had our suspicions for a while now that you would probably leave Sidar soon. It always makes me sad thinking of your inevitable departure. It's kind of strange. We spend so little time together in our lives, but it seems like that time is so very significant. Over all these years, there hasn't been a day that I haven't thought back to the night we first met. I never have been able to understand why. It's just always meant a lot to me. I did recognize you when you came back in '87, though not right away. I'm not really sure why I didn't ever say anything to you. It's just never felt like there was a good time to say anything. You had lived 20 more years. I had gotten 20 years older. I got married and had Michael. Looking back, it was for the best that I did not say anything. It's a strange thing, the connection we seem to have. I would say it is unique, but I can't say for certain whether that is true or not. The time you were a part of my life was indeed brief, but without doubt, that time changed my life. It changed my view of the world, and it changed how I see other people. I'm uncertain, but I think these changes were for the better, so I thank you. I also want to thank you for leaving me that night. I've enjoyed my normal life. I see now that this is all I ever could have wanted. You saw that it was what I wanted long before I even wanted it. You showed me something special, and you gave me the chance to live the life that was mine. My dearest wanderer, we aren't very good at goodbyes, are we? But this will indeed be our last. But I have grandchildren that I soon hope to meet, and you have a long road ahead of you, so I'll keep it brief. I want you to remember me as who I was, and to you will now always be. So goodbye, my dear wanderer. Travel safe, travel far and long and wide, and maybe in another life, in a different time, we will meet again. I'm speechless. I sit for a while, stirring in my emotions. I feel empty, but in a good way. At an end, but in the best way. I feel complete. After I walk out of the closet, I come across Candace alone. She's the only one left. The bar is empty, silent and calm like some place out of a dream. Finished already? Yeah. And you're leaving now? Candace. She begins to cry. You know I have to do. She wipes at her eyes with her dirty hands. I know. I know. There is silence for a moment before Candace draws in for a hug. She embraces me tightly, her tickling tears soaking into the shoulder of my coat. She trembles, but only a little. I don't want you to go. I have to. Can't leave. We're all still here. I'm sorry. I pull myself away. Goodbye, Candace. I'll miss you. I'll miss you and everyone else. And this dark, dusty old bar. And this sleepy town in the snow. I'll miss it. I'll miss you all. I will. Will you remember us? Always. Thank you. You know, you were like family to us. To my dad, to me, to the bar, to the town. You really were. I want you to remember that, okay? I give Candace one last smile before I turn for the door. She goes back to sleeping, not wanting to watch me leave. She takes a deep breath. Tears drip from her eyes onto the floor. Okay. Once outside, I take a final stroll around the town. Cedar, Maine. At first glance, it all seems so asleep. Like it's not alive, but only lays there in a state of constant rest. But that couldn't be more wrong. This town was more alive than any other I've seen. The white snow resting on the frozen ground glowed like the stuff of dreams. I've fallen in love over the years with this town, with this dream. But it's time to wake up. I walk away into the wilderness as the sun rises over the trees. I vanish like a ghost from a dream, wiping tears from my eyes. All I leave behind are footprints in the snow that are soon swept away by winter wind. Of all the money that e'er I spent it in good company, and of all the harm that era I've done, LS was done to none but me, and all I've done for one of wit, to memory now I cannot recall. So fill me to the party glass, good night and joy be with you all. So fill to me that party glass, and drink a health, whatever befalls. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be with you all. Of all the comrades that era I had, they're sorry for my going away. And of all the sweethearts that era I had, they wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise while you should not, I will gently rise and I'll softly call, good night and joy be with you all. Fare thee well, the story of a lonely man, a wanderer, a wayfarer, a stranger, and the sleepy town he left in the snow, one winter night. Wow. The Forever Lone Wolf. Good job. This is a really nice game about a immortal man who's immortal, and he meets this girl who he couldn't be with because he knew that she would die before him, and he can't die himself, so yeah, that was quite a game. So I'm gonna get off for today. If you guys really like this live stream, please give this a thumbs up. Play this game yourself if you want. It's free on Steam, called Fare Thee Well. Okay? I will see you tomorrow for Amnesia the Bonker live stream. Okay, I'll see you later. Goodbye, everybody.